Welcome to Have You Read It, the channel where we bring books to life, one summary at a time. Today we're diving deep into James C. Hunter's The Servant, a simple story about the true essence of leadership. This isn't your typical business book. It's a compelling narrative that explores leadership through a unique lens, weaving together personal anecdotes, insightful reflections, and timeless wisdom. Buckle up, because we've got a lot to unpack over the next hour or so. The book begins with a prologue that immediately grabs your attention. John Daly, a successful general manager, finds his life unraveling despite outward appearances of success. He's facing marital issues, strained relationships with his children, and challenges at work, including a recent unionization drive at his plant. Feeling lost and desperate for answers, he embarks on a week-long retreat at a secluded monastery. This isn't a decision made lightly. It's a desperate attempt to find some sense of direction and perhaps save his family. This retreat is where the real story begins. John unexpectedly finds himself roomed with a former Fortune 500 executive, now Brother Simeon, a monk at the monastery. The coincidences surrounding Simeon's name and his presence at the retreat are striking, creating an air of mystery and destiny. This unexpected meeting sets the stage for a week of profound learning and self-discovery for John. The author masterfully employs this narrative device to draw the reader into the central themes of servant leadership. The first day at the monastery involves a series of chapel services, an immersion into the monastic life, and the beginning of John's leadership classes. Brother Simeon, the instructor, immediately begins to challenge the participants' assumptions about leadership, subtly introducing the core concept of servant leadership without explicitly labeling it. We begin to see the contrast between power and authority. Power, as defined by sociologist Max Weber, is the ability to coerce. Authority, the skill to influence. This distinction lays the groundwork for understanding the servant leadership model. The initial discussions explore the fundamental differences between power and authority. Simeon argues that while power might yield short-term results, it ultimately erodes relationships and long-term influence. Authority, on the other hand, is built on trust and respect, earned through serving others and meeting their needs. He skillfully uses examples from various fields, military, business, family life, to highlight the limitations of a purely power-based approach. The conversation starts to move from a theoretical exploration of these concepts to more practical applications. The participants in Simeon's class, each a leader in their own right, bring a wealth of real-world experiences to the table. They debate, challenge, and question Simeon's views, creating a lively and engaging exchange of ideas. This dynamic demonstrates the importance of diverse perspectives and the value of open dialogue in achieving effective leadership. The discussion reveals the common challenges faced by leaders across various sectors, highlighting the universality of the principles being discussed. The group collectively begins to unpack the nuances of servant leadership. One of the most crucial discussions revolves around the concept of needs versus wants. Simeon emphasizes the importance of distinguishing between these two aspects when leading others. Meeting people's wants might lead to short-term gratification, but addressing their actual needs fosters long-term growth and loyalty. This leads to a deeper examination of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, illustrating how a leader's role is to facilitate the fulfillment of these needs within the team, creating a supportive environment for growth and development. The conversation frequently returns to this crucial distinction. The central idea of servant leadership is further developed through the metaphor of a garden. Simeon explains that leaders don't make things grow. Instead, they create a healthy environment where growth can naturally occur. This underscores the importance of providing the right conditions, removing obstacles, and nurturing relationships. The concept of relational bank accounts is introduced, emphasizing the importance of building strong, trusting relationships with those we lead. The importance of making both deposits positive actions and withdrawals negative actions is stressed. The 4-to-1 ratio of positive actions to negative actions needed to maintain healthy relationships is highlighted, underscoring the significant cost of negative interactions. The discussion also explores the concept of love as a verb, not a feeling. The participants discuss the biblical definition of agape love, emphasizing the actions and behaviors associated with this type of love: patience, kindness, humility, respect, selflessness, forgiveness, honesty, and commitment. These qualities, they realize, are essential to building authority and trust. The class members analyze each quality, exploring its practical implications for effective leadership. A crucial point is made. Love, in this context, is not a feeling, but a set of behaviors that can be practiced and developed regardless of personal feelings toward the recipient. The importance of listening actively, as opposed to merely hearing, is highlighted. Active listening involves silencing internal distractions and truly engaging with the speaker, attempting to understand their perspective and empathize with their feelings. This is presented not just as a communication technique, but as a fundamental act of service, demonstrating respect and care. The power of active listening as a tool for building strong relationships and fostering a supportive work environment is emphasized. The participants draw on their personal experiences to illustrate the impact of active listening. A key discussion centers on the implications of the upside-down pyramid leadership model. This model contrasts sharply with the traditional top-down, command-and-control hierarchical structure. Simeon proposes that the customer should be at the top of the organization, with frontline employees directly serving them, supported by supervisors who, in turn, serve their employees. This model places service and the needs of others at the forefront, creating a culture of shared responsibility and mutual respect. The participants contemplate the challenges and benefits of adopting this model. The discussion underscores the importance of shifting paradigms and challenging traditional approaches to leadership. The concept of legislating behavior is explored. While it's not about controlling every aspect of an employee's life, it involves setting clear expectations, establishing standards, and enforcing consequences for actions that violate those standards. This aspect of leadership isn't about oppression, but about creating a clear framework of accountability and ensuring that everyone operates within the established guidelines. The participants explore various methods of influencing behavior, focusing on positive reinforcement and creating a supportive environment. The narrative then moves on to the idea of praxis, a concept emphasizing that our actions shape our feelings as much as our feelings shape our actions. This is crucial in building a servant leadership model. By consistently acting in loving and selfless ways, leaders create the conditions for positive feelings to develop, both in themselves and in those they lead. The discussion explores how this principle applies to various aspects of leadership, from parenting to building a cohesive team. The concept of fake it till you make it is discussed as a strategy for developing these positive behaviors and forming new habits. The book also emphasizes the 4 stages of habit formation: unconscious, unskilled, conscious/unskilled, conscious, skilled, and unconscious, skilled. This framework provides a practical model for developing servant leadership skills, illustrating how consistent effort and practice can transform behaviors into ingrained habits. The participants discuss the challenges and rewards associated with each stage, emphasizing the importance of perseverance and commitment. The importance of continuous improvement is discussed, stressing the need to challenge outdated paradigms and adapt to a constantly changing world. The participants explore several examples of old versus new paradigms in leadership styles and organizational structures. This highlights the dangers of clinging to outmoded beliefs and the necessity of embracing change. The value of surrounding oneself with people who offer diverse perspectives is highlighted, further emphasizing the importance of diverse perspectives in leadership. The need for self-reflection and personal growth is constantly underscored. The final sections of the book emphasize the concept of responsibility and choice. The participants discuss the importance of recognizing our role in shaping our own lives and the lives of those we lead. They explore the contrast between neurotic tendencies, assuming too much responsibility, and character disordered tendencies, assuming too little responsibility. The significance of free will and the power of making conscious choices is discussed, challenging deterministic views of human behavior. The importance of accepting responsibility for our choices and their consequences is highlighted. The book concludes by addressing the rewards of leading with authority and by serving others. These rewards extend beyond mere professional success. They include a deeper sense of purpose, meaning, and joy, stemming from aligning one's actions with one's values. The participants share personal reflections on their experience during the retreat, highlighting the transformational impact of servant leadership on their lives. The importance of a clear personal mission statement is discussed as a means of providing direction and purpose. The takeaway from The Servant is that effective leadership is not about power but about authority, the ability to influence others through service and sacrifice. It's about identifying and meeting the legitimate needs of those you lead, creating a healthy environment where they can thrive. This requires conscious choices, commitment, and a willingness to love others, even those you find challenging. It's a process that involves constant effort, continuous improvement, and a lifelong commitment to growth, both personally and professionally. Easy to remember heuristics from The Servant: power versus authority. Power coerces, authority influences. Needs versus wants. Focus on needs, not wants. The upside-down pyramid: serve the customer, serve your people. Love as a verb. Love is patience, kindness, humility, respect, selflessness, forgiveness, honesty, and commitment. Actions, not feelings. Relational bank accounts. Make 4 deposits for every withdrawal. Praxis: act yourself into a feeling. 4 stages of habit development: unconscious/unskilled, conscious, unskilled, conscious, skilled, unconscious, skilled. The golden rule: treat others as you want to be treated. Responsibility and choice: you have the ability to choose your response. Thanks for watching. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button so you never miss our next book dive.